I never expected my life to turn upside down because of a random website. It started as just another boring afternoon. I was mindlessly clicking through a missing persons database when I saw something that made my stomach drop. A baby picture. It wasn't just any baby. The baby had my birthmark. Same exact shape, same exact spot on the wrist. At first, I thought I was imagining things. But the more I stared, the more it nagged at me. The name was different, and the birth date was a little off, but something about it felt too close. So, half jokingly, I showed my mom. The moment she saw the screen, she froze. She didn't say a word. She just went pale and walked out of the room. That was the moment I knew something was wrong. That night, I tried to shake it off, but I couldn't. So I did something I never thought I'd have to do. I checked my birth certificate. It felt off. The paper seemed too new. The ink looked like it had been redone in certain areas. That's when I started to panic. I asked my dad about it, and he immediately shut me down. "Don't be ridiculous," he said, brushing it off like I was crazy. But my mom? She couldn't even look at me. I spent the next few days digging into my past, asking relatives small questions, trying to see if anything felt inconsistent. That's when I found out something strange. We had moved across states when I was a baby, but when I asked my parents why, they gave me two completely different answers. My mom said it was for work. My dad said it was because of family issues. I asked my grandmother, and she hesitated before saying, it was complicated. At this point, my anxiety was through the roof. I needed to know the truth. So without telling my parents, I ordered a DNA test. A few weeks later, the results came in, and I genuinely thought I was going to pass out. I wasn't related to them at all. I wasn't even a distant relative. There was zero biological connection between me and the two people who had raised me. My hands were shaking as I stared at the results. I couldn't breathe. I confronted my mom again, and that's when she broke down. Through sobs, she admitted it. "You weren't legally adopted." I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. What did that even mean? She refused to say more, but I didn't need her to. I started digging, hard. And the more I searched, the worse it got. My adoption wasn't in any records. There was no paper trail, no legal process. It was like I had appeared out of thin air. That's when I finally hired a private investigator. What they found made me feel physically sick. My parents had received a large amount of money right after I was born. The kind of money that doesn't make sense unless something illegal happened. The investigator traced my origins to an underground adoption ring. I wasn't given up for adoption. I was stolen. But here's the part that still haunts me. My birth parents were real people. They had reported me missing as a baby. And for years, they had searched for me. But eventually, they stopped. Why? Because they were told I was dead. Someone had faked my death. I sat with this information for days, unsure of what to do. The people who raised me, I loved them. They were my parents. But at the same time, they had lied to me my entire life. I couldn't stop wondering, did they know I was stolen? Did they take me willingly? Or were they just desperate people who thought they were giving a child a home? I went back to my mom one last time and asked her point blank, "Did you know?" She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "We wanted a child so badly." That was all she said. I never reached out to my birth parents. I found them online. They had moved on. They had more kids. They had suffered so much loss. I didn't want to rip open that wound just to figure out where I belonged. Because the truth is, I don't know where I belong.